Um, okay, finally have a transition. Speaking of things that did lavish time on their scenes, we decided to give the show Blue Eye Samurai a shot.
Yes. And at first glance, when I was kind of watching it, my initial reaction was, "Oh, it's CGI animated."
Yes. So, excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah. So my opinion on CGI anime is that I liked Ruby back in the day, but that's because I think well, I know I was rating Ruby on a bell curve because, oh, it's from the guys who did Red versus Blue, and I like that. And also, wow, there really aren't a lot of web original CGI cartoons. So even if there are some questionable moments in the animation, it's forgivable because it's an indie production.
Yeah.
Uh, we've come a long way, baby. This is actually pretty good looking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What I'll say, since we're kind of talking about production right now, rather than plot, um, what I thought was interesting was that so I was like trying to be eagle-eyed, like, okay, they had to screw up this animation at some point, and I kept going, aha, something winked out of existence.
Yeah.
Then I would rewind and go, oh, wait, no, that was just a snowflake passing in front of a character, and so a piece of their clothing seemed to disappear. That, or it's like one scene, it's the main character, the blue eye samurai turns her head, and like, aha, there was some weird movement in the background. Oh wait, no, that was just the scarf that's tied over here moving from being visible to being blocked by her neck, like a normal thing. So
Yeah.
so I kept trying to actually find issues with the animation just because I have kind of a bias against it. So I'm
Yeah.
forced to conclude that it's good, even if I would be happier if it was in 2D.
Yeah. Same here.
uh, Now, as far as the actual show itself goes, it has a pretty neat premise. And so I don't actually believe that this was part of the production process, but I find it hilarious that it does technically check off some boxes from what people would call and you can't see me right now, a DEI checklist.
Yeah.
Because female, kind of androgynous main character,
Mm.
uh, who eh, who is
Uh,
non-white. The
yeah.
series hates white people because it takes place at a time in the Tokugawa shogunate where they have cut off all contact with the outside world, and no Europeans are allowed in Japan.
Right. Yeah.
There's a major subplot about a young woman who in an arranged marriage trying to break away from that.
Hmm.
Um, and there are multiple people with multiple disabilities here. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you just look at it on a spreadsheet, it looks like it's a checklist box, or excuse me, it's checking a bunch of boxes, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But the trick is, and you can't see me leaning into the camera right now, but the trick is just make it good,
Yeah.
because the decisions all feel organic.
Mm.
Um, so just quickly run through some of the decisions. Well, why is there a blind guy? Well, because the titular Blue Eye Samurai, because of her blue eyes, is clearly half European. And so people who hate outsiders wouldn't accept her. So having a blind blacksmith be her master makes sense about why he would accept her in the first place.
Right. Yeah. And although I find it kind of hard to believe that he never figured out that he was actually a she.
That's right. He thought or he thought the samurai was a young boy.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, girls when they hit a certain age, they start to bleed, and
That's a that's a good
blind
point.
people blind their senses are heightened. He would be able to smell blood.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe his sense of smell has been destroyed by years in front of a blacksmithing fire.
Oh yeah, so he's like Stevie Wonder.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, so I just think it's interesting that like I try I got into a bad habit last year where I would go woke, 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 and then I have to like dial it back. So I still notice these things, but like it didn't actually impact my view of the series. It just was an amusing aside.
Right. Yeah. And well, and I think what it doesn't call attention to it really. I mean, it does a little bit, but not in the you should feel bad because these people are having such a hard time because of people like
Right. Right. So it's very well done.
Yeah.
Now from like a story perspective, I don't think I'm insulting it to say that it's not doing anything especially new.
No, it kind of reminded me of a western. Uh,
Yeah, she's even kind of got the man with no name look there when you think about it.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but so the basic storyline is the Blue Eyed Samurai is out for revenge. Her
mhm,
mother was abused by one of the only four European men left in Japan after the Tokugawa shut down the ports.
yeah,
And she knows that one of these four men is her father, and she is out to figure out who it is and get bloody revenge.
yes. And in the first two episodes that we watched, she meets. She's in a noodle shop, and she meets the son of the owner, who is one of the people characters with a disability. He has no hands.
You got no hands, Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, and then so then the Ringo, I think was his name, right? Ringo.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Ringo.
Ringo.
Uh, uh,
And Ringo really, yeah.
Masioka. Why do I know the name Masioka? Who
Oh,
else
that's
has he?
Hero from Hiro Nakamura from Heroes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I never saw that. That's why he looks vaguely familiar. Oh, he was
He
also
was
in the Meg. I've seen that.
yeah, and he was in
Oh, he
Bullet
was the
Train.
Bullet Train. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So making more sense.
Yes. Yeah, and so he starts following the Blue Eye Samurai around, and she doesn't like it.
No, she keeps threatening to kill him because, well, he's seemingly useless. But
Yeah.
he, he does eventually become her traveling companion.
Yeah.
So that's the primary plot. Subplot is you've got Akemi, the daughter of a local. Um, would he be a daimyo? I guess he'd be a daimyo because that just means big
Yeah.
man
Yeah.
or big lord or whatever. Um, and he ends up, or she ends up in like her father's trying to arrange a marriage with somebody of some real consequence. She has Taigen, who is her. Well, we don't know. I don't know if they were lovers beforehand, but they were definitely lovers when she was trying to keep him around.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, who is the top duelist at a local sword dojo?
Mm.
Where coincidentally the Blue Eye Samurai is trying to get some information.
Yes. And they don't want her around, and so she just kicks all their butts.
Yes, and then Taigen shows up, and this is getting to the point of don't want to talk about exactly what happens because it's neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I think that's a good summary of a lot of things that are going on. It's just neat
Yeah.
because you've got they managed to weave the primary plot of the samurai trying to samurai basically is just doing the classic thing, going from point A to point B,
Mhm.
kicking ass in between on the way to her quest. Um, the You have the subplots with Ringo, the handless wonder,
Yeah.
who starts off exceptionally annoying. I've joked on Twitter that Blue Eye Samurai perpetuates the unfair stereotype that the disabled are extremely annoying.
Yeah.
but he mellows out a bit.
Yeah.
You have the subplot with Akemi trying to avoid getting married off, uh,
Yeah.
while you have Taigen gunning or sorting. Sorting is the proper
Sorting.
term for the
Yeah.
Black Samurai. And they also weave in flashbacks to her childhood with the sword maker who ended up adopting her and teaching her how to be a blacksmith.
Right. And it's also there where she learns how to sword fight.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how she does it because, of course, blacksmith famous for making swords. Of course, the samurai who buy a sword from this famed sword maker are going to want to try it out. So she basically just watches them and copies their movements, and even occasionally gets small lessons from them.
Yes, and there's a training montage in there. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about a quick negative. In fact, let's get into sound in general. They have a training bit with was this her as a kid, or was this her in the present trying to sharpen her skills? I couldn't
I can't remember. I
um,
think it was her as a kid.
because and the soundtrack is otherwise perfectly in keeping. Period instruments feels like you're watching a proper samurai show. And then they suddenly cut to dun 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 dun
Yeah.
bam bam bam
Dun, dun.
from the Kill Bill movies.
Yeah. And should I go ahead and play the
Yeah.
clip for you?
Play the clip.
All right. All right.
But it is press stop breaking my immersion.
Yes,
Stop breaking my immersion.
because that moment in the first episode, man, I was just taken so out of it. Like, wait,
Yeah.
we were on Discord at the time and just going, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah.
And it's so weird because there is nothing else in the show like that. It I almost wonder if it was like they put in training montage music as a placeholder, and they ended up running out of time to compose something that fit a training montage, so they just left the placeholder music in.
Yeah. Probably.
That's actually similar to the story of how Shrek ended up having Rockstar as the opening music, because the animators put it in there for timing and just as a placeholder song, and then eventually they said, "You know what? Let's stick with it. We like that."
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of the audio, about 20 minutes in, I said to myself, there is something that feels off about the English dub here,
Mm,
and I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's because I didn't bother looking into this because you'll see why in a second, but it
yeah.
felt like the actors were actors and not voice actors. And there is a difference. There is a certain
Yeah.
art to acting through your voice.
Yeah, yeah, I went through some of the like the English voice actors, and I recognize some of the names, like George Takei is one of them.
And- Right, which
Um,
George Takei has done his share of voice acting over the years, but he's also like always you always hire him because you specifically want George Takei sound, if that
right,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah, George Takei, um, and I think Kenneth Branagh was the European character in there.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but yeah, yeah.
at about the 20-minute mark, I said to myself, you know what? I think my weeb brain is going to be happier if I just switch over to the Japanese dub. And boy was I, because
Oh,
did you stick with the English?
I stuck with the English. Yeah.
Yeah, so as soon as I turned on the Japanese dub, I was actually much more like my Japanese animes.
Oh,
Because it, it helped with the immersion that they had just dented a bit with that musical choice.
yeah,
Because it felt more like the time period. So I can say that if you're a subtitle enjoyer, that's how I ended up watching this show.
yeah. I may have to go back and watch the Japanese of it yeah, because like the English, I think the big problem too with the English is that they're speaking in modern English.
Yes, thank you. Like,
Yeah, yeah, they're using like modern day like colloquialisms and phrases, and it's like this is in the 1600s. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to do it I mean, I know it's in Japan, but if you're going to do it in English, and I think you pointed it out, like, do like maybe like some form of Shakespearean, maybe, or like
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like Tolkien, or
Yeah, like maybe not go full Thor, like Marvel Thor,
you
but
know,
like yeah, like go to Tolkien and write the characters talking like that, and it would have felt more in keeping.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, as soon as I switched over to the Japanese with subtitles, I was like, okay, I'm suddenly my immersion.
yeah, yeah,
So that would actually be a if you're somebody like me who enjoys watching subtitled anime at times, uh, if you find yourself not enjoying this show, that would actually be a recommendation on my part because it suddenly feels much more like the period piece it's trying to be.
yeah,
So, as of 2 episodes in, um, this is actually a good example of a Netflix original. Like I often make fun of them, but dang it, if I hadn't been busy the last couple of nights,
yeah,
episode 3 and possibly 4 would have been watched because episode 2 in particular ends on a cliffhanger where I really need to see what's happening next.
yeah,
It, it is kind of nice to see like one of last year's big damn deal Netflix shows is actually worthy of all the praise it got.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would agree.
I believe I might be getting a second season, which that's interesting. That tells me is I maybe shouldn't anticipate all of the 4 Europeans getting killed off this season.
Yeah, maybe it could be like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they like each season is her going after one of them.
That's true. As of episode 2, we've only seen the one, and she is
Yeah,
making a beeline for him. So who knows what'll get in her way.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, before we get off on this recommendation, some quick alerts here. Extremely bloody,
Oh yes,
lots
yeah,
of dismemberment, lots of unpleasant injuries.
yeah. Human insides. Yeah, yeah,
This is also
and
a very horny show.
yes, there's quite a lot of nudity of both male and female.
Some of it in a sexual context, some of it in just a normal context. But
Yeah,
just some people will just say no to a show because of that. And if that's you, then that's fine. Move on with your
yeah,
life.
yes.
Um, interestingly, I looked this up, and this was done by, I believe it's a husband and wife team where one of them is European and one of them is part Japanese or part Japanese.
Hmm.
I looked it up on Saturday when I was getting ready to watch it. So that I wonder if what this feels like is it feels like it's a story that speaks to the creators. And also, as far as I could tell, this is not based on anything else. This is just an original story of theirs. So, well done.
Yeah,
You've
indeed.
successfully navigated the Netflix system and actually managed to make something good.
Yes, that's not easy to do.
Yep.